John and Peter had some stakes. If John gave Peter 30 stakes, they would have an equal number of stakes. If Peter gave John 30 stakes, John would have 4 times as many stakes as Peter. How many stakes did John have? So looking at this question, if you notice, this is a scenario-based question. Okay, because there's 2 if here, 2 different scenarios. Now, in these 2 scenarios, notice that they did not provide you with any number of stakes at all for each person. Okay, none at all. They only give you a transfer, John giving Peter. In fact, this is an internal transfer. Then they tell you what happened in the end. In the end, it's equal. And then same for the other scenario, Peter giving John. It's the other way around now. Peter gives John, then in the end, John will have 4 times. Okay, so for such a question, of course, the best way is to draw models out. So we are going to start off with scenario 1 first. Okay, so scenario 1 is if John gave Peter 30 sticks. Now, but the thing is, how do we even know how to draw? Okay, because we do not know who has more, who has lesser, right? Because the question didn't tell us that. Okay, so you need to think, you need to dive a little deeper into this. When John gave Peter 30 sticks, they would end up with the same number of sticks. What does that tell you about the comparison between John and Peter at the beginning? Who should have more sticks in order for this to happen? Okay, so this is something to think about. So John is the one who gave Peter such that they have same number of sticks in the end. So John should have a lot more sticks than Peter. Okay, so this is something that the question did not directly provide you. You got to dive a little bit deeper into scenario 1 to think about who should have more at first. Okay, so we've talked about that. John will have more than Peter at first. Now, let's show the transfer. John giving Peter 30 sticks such that they have equal number of sticks. So to show the transfer, okay, we're gonna cut a dotted line now down here to show the difference, because this extra part, we're going to do something to show the transfer from here to here. So you want both of them to have equal number of sticks in the end. So I hope you can see is that this difference, I got to cut it into half. And this will be your 30 sticks that you shade off. And this 30 sticks is going to be transferred to Peter such that they will have the same number of sticks in the end. Okay, if you can't really tell, use your fingers to cover away the shaded part. Notice that the white part for each boy is now the same. Okay, so if this is 30, of course, this will be 30, and this shaded part, of course, is 30 as well. Okay, so let's write it down here. All right. So as you can see, this will be the difference between both boys at first. Because if I were to backtrack my model, okay, let's say if I backtrack my model, yeah, this part, can you see this was the original, this was the original difference. Okay, so this difference will be useful. Okay, and we can actually find out the difference between both boys from the transfer of 30 sticks that's provided for us. Okay, so we're going to work that out. So this difference here will be 60 sticks, 30 plus 30, right? Okay, so initially both boys have a difference of 60, which means that initially John has 60 more than Peter at first. You can think of it this way. John has 60 more than Peter at first. Okay, so the purpose of scenario 1, like I said, is to help us find the difference. Now, this difference would then lead us to helping us do for scenario 2. So we're going to go on to draw for scenario 2. So for scenario 2, make sure you start off by drawing John having 60 more than Peter at first. It'll be good if you can do it top and bottom like that, so that you can do the alignment be in the same manner. So your 60, this size also. Starting line, this size. Okay, so not to do it side by side, but top and bottom like this. All right, so with this information, with this John having 60 more than Peter, I can now safely go on to show the transfer. This time, it's Peter giving John 30. So Peter, I need to shade away 30. Okay, try not to cut this into, half like that. Try to maybe cut a little at an irregular position so that you don't accidentally think this is 1U, huh? Okay, so just know that this is 30 now. So this 30 sticks, we are going to shade it off and transfer to John. Does Peter give John? So make sure, John, you extend the model with dotted line. Okay? Now, what happens? They say in the end, John would have 4 times as many as Peter. That means Peter in the end has 1 unit. John in the end has 4 units. So for Peter in the end, it's the white color portion here. Okay, this is the 1 unit here. Right? Make sure you before you shade off, you should have written out 30 and then shade off. Then do the extension here, right? 30 again. And it'd be good if we draw the arrow to show the transfer here. Right? This would be good. Now for John, 4 units, right, in the end. So John, whole thing in the end will be 4 units. So you just need to label at the top because it's impossible to cut this into 4 units. So don't try to do that. Just label at the top 4 units. Neat and nice. Okay, so looking at the difference between the units, you should be able to see that the 3 units difference will be from here all the way to the end here. 4u minus 1u, there will be a difference of 3 units. And now we can work out the value of these 3 units. So to work out that value, you notice that 30, this part is 60. Okay, this portion is 60, and this last part is 30. So 30, 60, 30. I should be adding them up to form your 3 units, which is 120. Of course, go on to find 1u. Okay, now once you have 1 unit, read question. How many sticks did John have? You must be wondering, are they asking for John at first or John in the end? Now don't forget, all these are if. They are scenario. They did not really happen. Okay, so the scenarios, all this change did not really happen for real. So if you were to think about to find how many sticks did John have, you should be looking at like the so-called at first model, the original model. Okay, so John originally would be this portion here, right? So let me just draw it out in yellow. So John at first will be this part without the 30. Okay, so we're going to work out on this part. So to work out this part, you have a few ways. Some of you might want to go and find 4 units, 40 times 4, and then you minus 30. That works as well. Okay, or some of you want to stick with finding 1 unit. You have found 1 unit, and then 1 unit plus 30 plus 60. So either way works. Okay, so I'm going to do the addition method. So 1u plus 30 plus 60. Please take note, not this whole thing is 1 unit, okay? Because some of you might accidentally forget. So you might want to just help yourself by extending this. Write down 1u here, write down 30 here. Okay, so the yellow part is what we have for John. This plus this plus this.